Welcome to another reading of Mehera-Meher, Chapter 134, titled Three Shots in the Night. Previously, Baba had been able to walk between Mandali Hall and the house in the morning and afternoon. But after returning from Pune in 1963, where he made many strenuous house visits, climbing up and down the steep marble steps of Guru Prasad each time he went out, his hip was affected. To go to the hall, Baba now began using the lift chair more often, carried by four of the garden boys. Meru made Baba's breakfast tea on a stove to the side of the dining table. Once the tea was on the table, however, it was Mehera who served it. She added milk and sugar and poured it into a deep saucer, which was more like a bowl, really. Baba never liked to drink tea from a cup because he wished it to cool quickly. Out of her deep love for her beloved, whatever Baba liked, Mehera made herself like also. For example, Baba liked his tea sweet. Mehera put 3 spoonfuls of sugar in hers also and drank it that way. One morning, Mani was sitting at the table watching Mehera prepare Baba's tea. She thought Mehera had made a mistake and put too much sugar in it. She tried to stop her, but Baba said, "No, I like it sweet. Not overly sweet, but on the sweet side," he added. Mehera likes hers like that too. According to Erich's sister, Manu, however, about some things Baba and Mehera were opposites. Mehera liked slightly cool weather. Baba liked it slightly warm. Mehera liked her food piping hot. Baba liked his coolish. He would be just the perfect actor to break her of her desire for hot food. Just as she took a morsel of hot food, Baba would say, "I'm feeling thirsty. I'd like some water." So Mehera got up to bring water. Again, she would sit to eat, and Baba would ask for something, all to break her of this habit until she did not care if her food was hot, cold, or lukewarm. The same thing happened to Rano. Just as she took a sip of her hot tea, Baba would say, "Go see if the paper has come," or anything to prevent her from enjoying her nice hot tea. Mehera did not like jam on her toast in the morning. Instead, she dipped her toast in the sweet tea so the toast became sweet and soft. And the other sidebar says, Meheru commented, Baba would tell Mehera not to eat her food too hot, but moderately hot was okay. Only on rare occasions did Mehera ever serve Baba coffee, not at breakfast, but mid-morning at Meherazad. Most of the time, Baba had tea, which he preferred. He did not like masala, or spiced or mint tea, but plain strong tea. Mehera liked coffee, but not in the morning. In India, coffee is prepared in milk, so she found it too rich and heavy in the morning. Baba told her later not to drink it. Once someone had made coffee, Mehera said. Baba asked not to drink it. No, sorry. Once someone had made coffee, Mehera said. Baba asked what I was drinking. "Coffee, Baba," I replied. He said, "It's all right now, but don't take it afterwards, whether he meant that I shouldn't take it every day. If Baba said, do this and do that, but he always said, don't do this and don't do that. Baba was eating very little in those days. Prior to 1963, Baba never took breakfast, Mehera continued. Always one cup of tea, sometimes a cup and a half. He would blow on it and take one or two sips of the hot tea. When it cooled a little, he drank it from the large saucer. Later, he took a little breakfast at Goher's insistence. In 1963, we noticed that Baba had high blood sugar, Goher elaborated. So one morning she told him, breakfast is very important, Baba. All night long, the stomach is empty. In the morning, you must have something to eat. It's essential. The sidebar says Baba's mother, Shireen Mai, was also a diabetic. So, in the morning, you must have something to eat. It's essential. What should I have? Baba asked. Eggs, Goher suggested. No eggs, Baba said. So they started giving him a banana for breakfast. Then gradually, semolina porridge with a banana cut up in it. Then shredded wheat. Then cornflakes, varying it from day to day. Sometimes he had rawa or shivai, a sweet fried vermicelli preparation. I used to get cereal like shredded wheat or cornflakes from Miami Baba lovers, Goher continued. Sometimes Baba had puffed wheat with a little milk on it. He did not like the same thing every day. Since he could not chew, Mehera explained, Baba liked anything soft. He was not fond of bread, butter, or toast. He never had eggs. Once in a while, some cream and soft bread. No butter either. In later years, Baba ate shredded wheat or cornflakes for breakfast, which had been sent by his Western lovers. But after some time, he got tired of it, and we made other things like semolina. According to Goher's notes, this was Baba's diet on 15 July 1963. Breakfast, 7 a.m., very weak tea, about 6 ounces. 1.5 ounces of skim milk, saccharin used instead of sugar. Life cereal, 1 ounce. But Baba takes only 5 grams of this cereal mixed with a spoonful of milk. The side note says Life cereal was chosen as it did not contain sugar then or contained less. It too was sent from Miami, sometimes with wheat germ also. A few years later, Energen wheat flakes, a British product, and Quaker Diet frosted wheat puffs were also sent and given to Baba. He liked the frosted wheat puffs the best. Back to the text. Vitamins at 8:30 a. Oh, and also vitamins. At 8:30 a.m., 1 ounce of raw liver juice. Yum. 9 a.m., sweet plums, about 2 ounces. Lunch, 10:30 or 11 a.m., nut curry, about 6 ounces, made in 4 ounces of coconut milk, 5 grated almonds, 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds, 1 tablespoon of coriander seeds, and other I mean, 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds and other spices, 1/4 teaspoon of safflower oil. This curry eaten with 4, 5, sometimes 6 ounces of bran bread. I'll just reread that nut curry recipe again. About 6 ounces of, oh, it was altogether, it was 6 ounces. Made with 4 ounces of coconut milk, 5 grated almonds, 1 teaspoon of sesame seeds, 2 tablespoons of coriander seeds and other spices, 1/4 teaspoon of safflower oil. And at 12 noon, 2 ounces of some kind of sweet fruit, mango, papaya, or plum. At 2 p.m., 2 ounces of weak tea. At 5 p.m., 3/4 ounce or 1 ounce of bran biscuits soaked and softened in milk, or 2 to 3 ounces of curry with 2 to 3 ounces of bran bread. During the day, when available, 16 ounces of fresh coconut water. Fish, about 4 ounces, put in the curry when available. No eggs, does not eat meat. Dal lentils, cooked and mixed with 10 ounces of cooked vegetables. This too in place of curry sometimes. Absolutely no rice, no potatoes, no sugar is given except for the carbohydrate content in the fruit. Side note says Baba had been told to lose weight by Dr. K. Grant, a Pune physician. However, Baba never adhered to any diet for long. After a few days, his diet changed to something else. The President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, was assassinated on 22 November. Mehera had an unusual experience at the time. It was midnight in India when Kennedy was shot in Dallas, and everyone was fast asleep. I'm a heavy sleeper, Mehera related. Once I'm asleep, I sleep deeply and soundly. But that night at midnight, I was sleeping lightly when I clearly heard a noise, as if someone were snapping his fingers 3 times by my left ear. I woke up wondering who it was. Who is trying to wake me up? No one was there. I turned over, didn't give it another thought, and went to sleep. The next day, we heard the news that Kennedy had been shot 3 times. My experience had been a sign. I forgot to tell Baba then, but I remembered and told him a few days later. Baba liked John Kennedy. And the sidebar says, although Kennedy never visited India during his presidential term, his wife, Jacqueline, spent 9 days in India in March 1962. Lyndon Johnson, who became president after Kennedy, had visited India in May 1961. His successor, Richard Nixon, visited India later in July 1969. I should read this other side note. Towards the end of Baba's life, Gohar began giving him Shilajit, an Ayurvedic medicine, in a little warm milk at night. So that's something to look up. Shilajit. Shilajit, Shilajit. So Baba liked John Kennedy, Mehera said, and had remarked that he was a fine individual. Yet, when the election had been held 3 years earlier, the women were listening to the results at Meherazad on the radio when Baba came for his morning tea. We heard that Kennedy had been elected, and we were glad, as we didn't like Richard Nixon's looks. Isn't it good, Baba? They said. Kennedy won. Baba looked serious for a moment and then, with a sad expression, said, he shouldn't have been elected. Mehera was surprised. But he looks so much better than Nixon, Baba. Did you want Nixon to win? Nobody likes Nixon. Kennedy seems strong and capable. He has a good personality and prestige. Baba nodded, but did not comment further. Clearly, he was not pleased over the outcome. Now, three years later, when Kennedy was assassinated, they remembered Baba's words. Baba's gesture for Kennedy was a K. For Lee Harvey Oswald, the man who shot Kennedy, Baba gestured chi, meaning awful, useless. After Oswald himself was shot by Jack Ruby, when reports began appearing in the newspaper about a possible conspiracy and the involvement of Ruby in the plan, Mehera asked Baba whether Oswald was the sole culprit who had shot and murdered Kennedy. Baba told her that he was. On Monday, 23 December, a women's program was held at Meherazad to celebrate Mehera's birthday. More than 300 women attended from Ahmednagar, Pune, Bombay, and Navsari. Mattresses were placed inside Mondley Hall for the few who were invited 2 days before the program. Those attending first met Baba and Mehera on the veranda of the main house, before being seated inside the hall, where songs were sung. Baba's chair was not in the corner of the hall that day, Mehera said. It was positioned a little ways from the door so that the women could go around it after taking darshan. The hall was full, and a small tent had been erected outside on the women's side for people to sit in the shade. Side note says a microphone was used inside the hall so that the men Mondali, who were sitting outside on their side, could hear the music. When it was time for Baba to return to his room, the women visitors said, "Don't call the men to lift your chair, Baba. Today is the Women's Day, so we will carry you." Amidst amidst shouts of Baba's Jay, the guests surged forward to carry him. Baba had to hold on tight as his chair was tossed from side to side by the enthusiastic and eager women, all laughing and shouting. Everyone wanted to lend a hand. After Baba had gone to his room for 15 minutes, he emerged and took a seat in the garden, where a buffet lunch was served. Mani brought her movie camera and took a short film, bujias, and other treats. were served on a long table under the trees. Each held her plate on her lap. Three chairs were placed in a row, one for Baba, one for Mehera, and a third for the Rani of Baroda. I did not sit in my chair always, Mehera said. When I had to eat, I sat near Baba. He didn't eat much. He would joke with those who came, teasing Pilamai of Karachi, especially. Pilamai was sitting in front, laughing between mouthfuls of food. Why are you laughing? Baba asked. What's so funny? Nothing, Baba, she replied. I'm just so happy to be here. Well, stop laughing or you'll forget to eat. Mehera cut the birthday cake and served Baba first. He had a tiny bit from his piece and gave her the rest as prasad. An almost palpable joy pervaded the garden of Meherazad as the beloved, seated amidst his female devotees, smiled at his beloved. After lunch, all reassembled in the hall. Alu had prepared a birthday song for Mehera to the tune of a Gujarati wedding march. She taught it to 10 others, and they sang it, although Alu herself did not have a good voice. Baba chose someone else to sing, who also said she wasn't much of a singer. She too sang in a croaking voice. I told you I couldn't carry a tune, she said halfway. No, it's very good, Baba said. Continue. Katie, sporting a mustache and holding an umbrella, added to the entertainment by deceiving everyone when she entered the hall dressed as a man in a Parsi cap. Audible gasps and shouts of outraged protest were heard as this man stumbled forward, intruding upon the exclusively female gathering. The crowd became even more horrified when the man lunged to embrace Mehera. The side note says, for an encore, Katie returned later as a Japanese dancer. Dun Sata, one of those who attended the birthday celebration, shared her 10 January birthday with a pampered Meherazad resident, Peter the dog. Dune was among the lucky lovers to receive a birthday card or telegram each year from Baba. To our darling Dunu, Mani wrote one year, whose very life is his message of love in being happily resigned to his will. Dear Mehera will give your embrace to beloved Baba. Another year, Erich wrote, may you ever remain cheerful and strong, so that by the light of beloved Baba's love, which you radiate, we may learn to be brave and smiling like your sweet self. May you always reflect beloved Baba's love in your life as bravely, cheerfully, and graciously as you do. In 1964, Dune received this message. May the sun of beloved Baba's love always keep you bright and well and cheerful, and may the joy you shed on all on all warm our hearts for many, many years. Beloved Baba sends his love to you, his very dear Dunu. Dune's sister Alu had recently passed away, and about her own suffering with muscular dystrophy, Baba once told her, I could touch you and in a moment make you completely well, but it is better to finish the suffering now and not save it for the next time. Baba's 70th birthday was celebrated throughout the world on 25 February. Mani wrote to Dune, last night at 10 p.m., we heard Baba's name and prayer over the radio, the Delhi station, which gave 10 minutes to report on Meher Baba's 70th birthday function at Delhi. The prayer was recited in Hindi by the Baba lover Sardar Saigal, Member of Parliament. Part of Thirumal Rao's speech was given, a speech by Hukam Singh, Speaker of the House, who inaugurated the function, and lastly by Sanjivaya Reddy, who presided. It seemed quite a fitting end to the auspicious day before the Meherazadians went to bed. Beloved Baba had retired to his room long before that. For Baba's birthday, Mehera dressed in an expensive sari and applied a decorative bindi, a forehead dot. She wore a bindi on her birthday also, and other special occasions. But Baba himself never applied a tika, a red mark, to her forehead. Baba didn't care for all these things, Mehera explained, but he would put sweets in her mouth on our birthday. Several times Meheru composed a poem for Baba on his birthday, but the only time she had to mentally compose them, she reported, was while washing his clothes. In Baba's time, Mehera never wrote poetry, but she did write a few lines in English occasionally. Once, just to amuse him, she recited this short rhyme to Baba, which she had read. Algae met a bear. The bear met algae. The bear was bulgy. The bulge was algae. Adi Sr. had written this nonsense poem about Ahmednagar. Ahmednagar, damn bugger. Machar kagar, samwar pagar. And in parentheses in English, House of Mosquitoes, get paid on Monday. Adi's sentiments were particularly appealing to Mehera, who considered Ahmednagar to be a deplorable place. She recited this poem to Baba also. But as he had told her never to use the word damn, Mehera had Meheru say that word for her. And the side note says, Baba also told Mehera never to swear on his photograph. For instance, If she wished to emphasize that something were true, she was never to say, "I swear on Baba's picture." Mehera was not alone in finding Ahmednagar less than ideal. We used to call Ahmednagar DDD, drab, dry, and dusty, Mani confided. One day, Mehera complained to Baba, "Why did you choose Ahmednagar as your headquarters? Why did you want to come and stay here? It's an awful place. It's so drab and dusty and completely uninteresting. Out of all the places in India, why didn't you choose a better place? Why Ahmednagar? It's it is an ugly, dirty town. What a place to choose." Baba scratched his chin and pondered this for a moment. He looked a bit guilty and then admitted, "Yes, I really made a mistake. I seem to have gotten into the habit of it. At the time of Jesus, I made a mistake. I did it as Mohammed, and now I've done it again. But next time," he promised, "I will remember." Mehera, who naturally preferred green, lush, scenic locations where there was plentiful rainfall, was so pleased to hear this. Her eyes widened. "Really, Baba?" she asked. "I promise," Baba said, and he left for Mandalay Hall. Mehera looked at Mani and asked, "Wait a minute, how are we going to know that next time he's chosen well because of his promise now?" "Exactly," Mani said. Mehera had to chuckle. Baba was so sweet, he always had the right answer. And she became resigned to their situation. Somehow, the avatar always seems to be associated with barren places. Mehera was at least happy Baba had chosen Meherazad. "I don't like to stay in the city," she continued. "Just houses, more houses, cars, and people. Too much noise always. I don't like anything mechanical either. I like a horse carriage, but not a Tonga. Either a nice Victoria or a dog cart. I like nature with trees, plants, and birds singing. That's why Baba brought us to stay at Meherazad and made his home here, where it is quiet and peaceful. Baba always liked it here. He could relax after Guru Prasad Darshan times. Afterwards, he had a rest here. Meherabad is just as dear to me as Meherazad, for it was in Meherabad that I had Baba's darshan for the very first time. It was there I combed Baba's hair, attended on him, washed his face, washed his clothes and utensils, and served food to him. Baba talked there and sang, so Meherabad is very dear to us. But Baba stayed at Meherazad so many years. He made his home here. He was in seclusion here. And his last great important work was done here at Meherazad. A lovely picture of ladies. Goher's got her mouth open somehow. She must have been in the middle of saying something. So Goher, Mani, Adele,
Or else it looks
Mehera.
like she's frowning. I guess her mouth is open with her teeth showing, yeah.
Yeah, she looks like a bunny rabbit. So who's that to the left of to Mehera's left?
I don't know.
Okay, Meheru.
Oh, Adele. Yeah. Huh.
Oh, oh no, here's Meher. Meheru's squatting or sitting on the floor, and that's Naja.
Yeah, Naja, but I thought you meant who was to the left of Mara. Or do
Y-
you yeah, there's
Yeah. No, I meant to Mehera's left.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Adele Walken. I guess because she's in India practicing as a nurse.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, what do you know? Oh, pretty Western style statue of,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of androgynous. Might be a lady, it might be a young man. And,
Right. Very Greek.
yeah, it looks Greek, doesn't it? Yeah. Um, looking over Baba on,
Mm. Mm.
on a nice.
Robin. Yeah.
Oh, so Baba's in his pajama shorts, I guess you'd call them.
Mhm.
Yeah, pajama shorts. They're very comfortable. Guru Prasad, 1960.
Mhm.
Barham took the picture.
Uh-huh.
Okay, uh, please continue, Deb.
Okie doke. This is chapter 135, Divine Perspiration. Mayor Baba and the women Mandali were driven to Gurbasad for the summer, leaving Meherazad on 1 April 1964 and returning 3 months later on 1 July. On the way, they stopped at Akbar Press and visited Doon. The road to Pune was not especially long, approximately 90 miles, but it was not always in good repair. Mehera hated to ride in the car when the road was bumpy and conditions dusty, and particularly then when she thought of how uncomfortable each bump must be for Baba's hip. Every other minute she said, "Baba, the road is bad. Baba, it is so bumpy." To take her mind off the road, Baba engaged her in conversation, made her talk about something else, or told her a story. "Now I realize how sweet Baba was to do this," Mehera said. At Guru Prasad, Baba continued his work in seclusion. Visitors were not permitted that year. "Darshan is canceled this year," Mani wrote to Irene. "Although we can't help but feel deeply disappointed for them all, we know that whatever Baba plans is for his work, and that comes above all considerations." For his amusement, Mani read to Baba each day. 6 Nero Wolfe books were read during their summer stay, and several more by other authors. Although Guru Prasad, with his high ceilings and ceiling fans, was cooler than Baba's residence at Meherazad, Pune itself was not much of an improvement over Ahmednagar. The heat of April and May is relentless. Baba had stayed in Ahmednagar during many hot summers, but that was when he was moving about freely. In later years, he was confined to his chair and perspired a great deal. Baba's elbow joint and forearm would turn pink in the heat. Well, I guess both his elbows and both his forearms would turn pink in the heat. Mehera dried his back as he sat on his bed and sprinkled Johnson's baby powder around his neck, on his shoulders, back, and under his arms. At times, Baba himself took a small towel and wiped his chest and armpits. Baba did not use powder after his bath, but only in his room at Guru Prasad when he was feeling hot and perspiring, and only after the second accident. Even that did not help much. "What's the use of putting on powder?" Baba once observed. "I'll just perspire again." And then the side note says, after Baba dropped his body when Mehera was about to depart for Pune once, someone suggested that perhaps by now Baba had seen to it that the road would be smooth for her. Mehera's thoughtful response was, "Baba has done enough for me already." Another note says Bao applied the powder again at night. When it was warm, Baba took off his sadra and handed it to Mehera for washing. Although Mehera's sense of smell was severely impaired after the Prague accident, she was able to vividly recall the aroma from Baba's clothing. When Baba removed his sadra, I held it in my hands and quickly smelled it. Baba's sadra smelt so sweet, such a lovely fragrance would come. The others too gathered to inhale it, each one taking it from the other's hand to have a turn. The smell was something so different, so nice that you wanted to go on inhaling. It was not at all like perspiration. Mehera added, "Even when I made his bed in the morning, that beautiful, delicate fragrance was present on the sheets. His coat and sadra were full of perspiration after some darshan, yet that fragrance would linger. When I washed them, first I would imbibe that fragrance." Mani said that at times, when she took a huge Indian rose in her hands and put her nose next to it to inhale, it reminded her of when Baba caressed her face and she kissed his palm. How soft it was, what fragrance, just like the giant rose in texture and scent. Well, now we'll have to look for one of those Indian roses to sniff.
Yeah, I've never heard of giant Indian roses.
No, no, maybe there would be at some botanical garden, though, somewhere in the U.S.
Hmm.
Their homes at Guru Prasad were hot, but the wide verandas prevented the direct sun from shining on them. In the evening, the gardener hosed down the driveway and garden to keep things cool and the dust to a minimum. At night, a cool breeze blew, but Mehera could not enjoy it. She shared a bedroom with Mani, who was susceptible to colds, so one of the windows had to be shut. Baba's room, however, was the worst. His room faced the setting sun, and the temperature inside rose every afternoon. The Kalchuri family visited Guru Prasad most summers. The windows and doors of Baba's room were kept tightly shut. Sheila Kalchuri Fenster recounted. There was only a very small, dim bulb on. The fan was never turned on. It was like an oven inside. Baba sat on his bed without his sadra, his pajamas rolled to his knees. It was so hot inside, I wondered how they, Baba and Bao, could stand it. In addition, a mosquito net was hung around Baba's canopied bed, and sheets placed on top of the canopy to block out any light. It made lying down inside the net even warmer. Whew. Because Baba perspired so much, his pillowcase was changed often. Special pillowcases had to be made out of a soft, thick material so that the perspiration would not ruin the pillow. Extra material was placed inside the pillowcase so that the pillow would not get wet and the covers could be changed. They could have let the pillows to get drenched, and then we could have something to sniff to remember him by. Yeah. I wonder if it's an archival scent. Must be. Must be from the Avatar. Mehera spread a drosh sheet on the bed also, which was washed and changed daily. On top of the bed, she said, we stretched another piece of material. It was a fine muslin material, a sari really. We put it on the top as it had a real little frill all around it. We wanted to make Baba's bed look pretty with an attractive sari around it, and to protect the bed so that dust would not fall on it. His sheets were colorful, sometimes striped. There is a canopy around the bed during the daytime, Mehera said, which was removed at night. Side note, Mehera preferred using tightly woven material for Baba's sheets, which would catch and show less dust. The sheets were not textured, but made from smooth, tight fabric. Mehera and Meru took care of Baba's room and bed, but as a special concession, Mehera allowed Sheila to help change the linen in Baba's room. Mehera brought a pile of clean linen into the room and kept it on a table, Sheila related. Mehera was so particular about everything. When removing the old linen for washing, she carefully took it off Baba's bed, holding it by the edges and folding it, even though it was to be given for washing. She let me bring her the clean sheets, but not all together. I had to hand them to her one by one. Mehera even showed me how to carry them. Each sheet was to be held in front of me, my arms extended, palms upward, with the sheet placed on both palms. I was to be careful that the sheet did not touch my body. I can bring them all together, I said. But Mehera said, no, these sheets are for God. Bring them like this, held in front of her. Before kissing the sheets on the bed, Mehera touched her face to them. I thought she was kissing them, as they were Baba's, but Mehera explained that she was feeling them to see that they were soft, that all the soap had been rinsed out. Very, very slowly and gently, she slipped a new pillowcase over Baba's pillow. This is why it took her so long in Baba's room every day. Everything was done meticulously. So I think all her actions were reflective of, of her love for Baba. It wasn't like she was a neat freak. Mehera had placed a few photographs of Baba in the drawing room at Guru Prasad. Do you want me to do the dusting? Sheila asked, eager to help. No, said Mehera, this is Baba's work. I like to do it myself. Arnavas too was impressed by Mehera's devoted service to Baba. Mehera put food on Baba's plate. She served him. She gave him soap to wash with, poured water over his hands. The love between Baba and Mehera, and with what love Mehera would do things for Baba, was to be observed rather than described. The bed Baba used at Kupraswad was the one that was already there when they first came to stay. It was used for a number of years until Pilamai got the idea to have a bed specially built for Baba and another for Mehera also. This was done through Khorshid in Bombay, and the old ones were used as spare beds. New mattresses too were made for Baba and Mehera. Side note, the mattresses were handmade and stuffed with cotton, not the box spring type. When Baba returned to Meherazad, The mattresses were stored at Guru Prasad.
Those sound, it sounds like those were, what are they called? Futons. Yeah.
Yeah, futons.
They've gotten quite popular.
Hmm. Yeah, and also, um, I bet the futon smelled of like had that baba fragrance to it also.
Oh, true.
Khorshid stayed with Baba at Guru Prasad every summer. In the mornings, she washed Baba's clothes, and in the evenings, she cooked khichdi, rice and dal cooked together for Baba, as she had done since the early days. Side note, Mehro rinsed out Baba's pillowcases and draw sheets every day, and occasionally gave these as well to Khorshid to wash. So the rice and dal cooked together is something that's very gentle on the stomach. I mean, as long as you're not, they agree with you. I mean, in Ayurvedic Vedic medicine, they say it's very gentle.
Not very appetizing though.
Well, they can put in a few herbs and spices sometimes, and also
Oh, true. Yeah.
a generous dollop of ghee, which makes everything taste nice.
Everything goes better with butter. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
And
hmm?
ton of and a lot of chutneys and
Yeah,
pickles
right.
makes everything good.
She also began preparing Mara's bed every night. Mani told her not to do this, as Mara would become used to having it done for her, and Khorshid would not be at Marazad to do it. Khorshid stopped, but found out later that others, such as Katie, started doing it for Mara. When Khorshid arrived at Gurbasad, she met Baba first. Now that you've come, Mara will spend the whole day talking with you, Baba joked. She won't look after me. We'll both look after you together, Khorshid assured him. Baba instructed Khorshid not to discuss certain subjects, his health or her own problems and worries with Mara. It will make Mara upset, he cautioned. You should say nothing to upset Mara. But Baba, to whom can I tell my troubles? Khorshid asked. Baba said, if you tell Mara, she too will worry because she loves you. The others also tried to elicit Khorshid's cooperation in shielding Mara from certain things. Mani, for example, would call Khurshid privately outside and lecture her about the need to keep Mara in the dark about something. Why are you telling me this? Khurshid demanded. If Baba tells me, I will listen. But Baba is saying this, Mani maintained. Khurshid did not always believe her. You want to take over now for a while?
Oh, sure. W- I'll do another few minutes. Erich often wrote Khorshad instructions from Baba, but he would add that she was to hand over the letter when she arrived. From this, Khorshad understood that a portion of what Erich had written was coming from him and not Baba. That's why Erich wanted the letters back, she reasoned. She never did give the letters to him, but kept them. Despite herself, sometimes Khorshad let things slip out that Baba had warned her not to mention. For example, about someone who came to see Baba that day. Once she told Mehera that a woman she knew had become involved with a man. Mehera stopped speaking to the person. Other times, Khorshad mentioned that someone was seriously ill. Mehera then brought up the subject to Baba and pleaded for his intervention, which Baba wished to avoid. Often at the dining table during lunch, Khorshad would start on a forbidden topic. Mani tried to signal Khorshid with her eyes to be quiet, but Khorshid would plow right ahead. Baba, too, would look restlessly at Mani and the others. What is she doing? His anxious look conveyed. Even though we told her not to talk about this in front of Mehera, Baba did not like it at all. You tell Mehera things and think she will be happy, he later scolded Khorshid. You think that you are doing her a favor, but really you are harming her by telling her everything. She makes me do things I don't want to do, saving a person from illness, for instance. They are ill because of their sanskaras. When you tell Mehera, I have to go out of my way to cure them. In spite of Baba's warning that Khorshid should be careful of what she should and should not discuss with Mehera, Meheru stated, she was not always discreet. This was a worry to us, for Khorshid often said things that would get Mehera worried and bothered, and naturally this affected Baba. Why do you let Khorshid come to Guru Prasad? Goher once pointedly asked Baba. Keep her in Bombay. If you explain to Mehera, she won't feel bad. No, Baba said. I can't take away that happiness from her. Mehera enjoys her company. Baba knew of Khorshed's deep love for Mehera, too, and of her joy of being with Baba and Mehera at Guru Prasad. Arnavaz and Katie were also invited to Guru Prasad most summers. Arnavaz had always wanted to massage Baba's legs, and Mehera allowed her to do so during her stay. This summer, our stay in Pune was quite quiet compared to last year's. Mehera wrote to Irene. Arnavaz was with us for 5 weeks and Katie for 12 days. Arnavaz fell down and sprained her foot, so they had a week more. Khorshid, as usual, was with us for 3 months. The side note says Katie was living at Arnavaz and Nariman's apartment in Bombay. Khorshid usually sat next to Mehera at the table, but whenever Arnavaz was there, Mani would say Arnavaz has come for only a short visit. Let her sit next to Mehera. Of course, Khorshid obliged. Then Katie sat next to Mani, so Khorshid had to sit further away. Small things like this irked Khorshid, but she knew that with every avatar, such things happen within his ashram. Meheru commented, all the women Mandali could have sat next to Mehera and Mani,
Blue and orange above the channels.
but we always gave visitors the chance. Okay, so we'll stop here. The top paragraph of page 291.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry I wasn't with you last week.
That's fine.
Yeah, had to go to the doctor.